Hello everyone, this is Diane. I'm about to make my video showing these completed journals, and I want to tell you right here that they will be in my shop the day you see the video, Saturday, June 27th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So at 11 a.m. today, you can go to my shop, which will be linked below, and you can see if these journals are still there anytime after 11. All right, now on to the video. Hi everyone, this is Diane. Now I know I crammed several days worth of work into one video doing these journals because they're small journals. There's not a lot involved with them, but I did add a lot of details and I spent more time on them than I thought I would. So there's a lot of fun things in here, but I was able to get a lot of the work into one video with a lot of editing. And now I've been doing some more work. There's more in here than what you saw in that video. And I'm ready to show you the finished product. I have two bags, a bag for each journal with some goodies for you to play with. I'm not even going to go through them with you. You can see some of it, cards and some of the extra digital elements, things like that. So these will go with your journals. So let's take one at a time and look at them. I just tied them with red and navy seam binding, and they measure 6 inches across and 9 inches high. It's just one signature. It is a file folder, and I Mod Podged sewing pattern tissue and then the sewing envelope, the pattern envelope, onto the front and the back. You can see I did a little collage with some die cuts on the back, which is fun. And what you didn't see on the front was I added some rickrack and some pom-poms. I think I forgot how many pages there are. I'll have to count them and put them in the description. I lined the inside of the folder with navy polka dot fabric, put some satin ribbon at the top and this woven trim at the sides. This folder had fold-up flaps, so I cut it apart because it was all one piece going all the way across. Mod Podged tissue onto that also, and then did a collage with some scraps and some digitals. This one happens to have a vintage Liberty Bell sticker that I took off of a page, a piano student's book. So the teacher had put that bell on when the student did a good job on her song. I stamped this stamp that I have. It says first day, second day, and all the way to the 7th day it says this week. I stamped it in navy and then glued it to red scrapbook paper, and you can write on the back, you can write on the front. This is a fabric pocket. I received some happy mails with some patriotic supplies from Sarah, Carolyn, and Doris. And I'm not going to say who gave me what because I keep messing it up. So thank you to all of you ladies for your help with patriotic items for these journals. I put some eyelet trim here with this gingham woven ribbon through it and some lace here. And I have a lot of different patriotic papers to include in the pockets. This is a vintage flashcard. It's got some red ink on it here. I think it got laid on a stamp that had been used. So that's just an interesting little pattern there. I did a collage with a doily and some die cut images. And this is a Betsy McCall paper doll and her dress. And there's another outfit that goes with this. Here it is. I'm going to put it with it right now so I don't have to try to figure out which journal it goes with. So I'm just going to cut this out and I'll stick it in this journal somewhere. I did some stamping. I love this page, this Things to Do Today. It's not new. I don't know if it's considered vintage, but I love the blueprint and there's space to write. This is a children's reader, and this section was about the flag. So there's the school building, and there's a flag on the flagpole. Just a little piece of fabric there. This is a vellum or tracing paper, grid paper, with a vintage label and a vintage airmail stamp. Just a blue copy paper with some little scraps of fabric. A vintage lined paper. Vintage music. This is When Johnny Comes Marching Home. And I made this fabric flip and glued it on. Just little note papers. This is a vintage shipping label. And I put it on cardstock and it became a pocket. This is vintage fringe trim. And this is a bunco scorecard, which is fun to write on. Also in this pocket, I included another note paper. And another note paper. A vintage label for a baggage sticker for a Trans-Pacific, I almost said transatlantic, Trans-Pacific ship, and a Betsy Ross paper doll. All the Betsy Ross paper dolls, Betsy McCall. Did I say Betsy Ross the first time? These are Betsy McCall, and they came from McCall's magazines. There used to be a paper doll in every issue. And someone found a whole stack of them at a estate sale, and she sent me some of them, quite a few. So the patriotic looking ones made it into these journals, and the first ones I made. So I glued them to a paper, just a thin paper, so you can cut around them, cut out the outfits, and this is just a descriptive paragraph or blurb of what she's wearing. And I just tucked those in here. I'm going to tuck this in here too, but that goes with the doll that's wherever that other, oh, here. I stenciled that with a vintage stencil, and this is a pattern page from a I want to say 70s. I think it's from the 70s pattern book. Lined paper. This is from a book of art. This New England, my goodness, this New England artist, and his capture of Americana is fabulous. And this is fall, more than, like the 4th of July or summertime, but I left it. You can cover it if you want to. This is an envelope to resubscribe to the Workbasket magazine. I like the colors of it. Another little note paper with stars on a red copy paper. I stamped this and die cut it. This is wrapping paper. This is a Jeopardy game sheet. And I added a die cut medallion with a milk bottle cap, a vintage one. This is graph paper. And I made these stars with some dies and my Big Shot. And I stamped, there's 2 stars layered on each other. I stamped Find Joy in the Little Things and Choose Joy. In the smaller one, I put a campaign card. So there are cards that came with a game called Hail to the Chief. And you'll have more cards from that. But that's one called a campaign card. And some tickets. There are 2 together. White and red. And in the bottom, I have a vintage Borden red scissor coupon. Oh, it goes on this side. A label sticker and a vintage orange flavoring label because it's blue and white. We have blue and white trim here and some red rickrack. Those are both vintage. I did some stenciling, and it says, "Don't forget to fly." This is a vintage map that I really like. The 2,000 mile oil. So it's not the year 2000. It's an oil that's supposed to be good for 2,000 miles. But I love the red and navy coloring of this map. And here is another journal card that I stamped and die cut. And I had this Stampin' Up! Paper. I only had 1 or 2 sheets of it, and I completely forgot about it. So I stamped this and glued it to this so that you can see the fireworks on the back, because you have this space for writing. And this side says, "Have a beautiful day." Here's a little girl from a sewing pattern. I think this one might be from the 60s. I cut her out, glued her to this pattern cardstock, and it's a belly band. And this is a game sheet from Hail to the Chief, and this is called The Convention, which is a really fun game sheet for this journal. And then this is not patriotic, except the colors. It's red, white, and blue. It's for a moving company. Just a couple of scraps of fabric there, and this is a vintage piece from the 1940s. And I die cut this medallion and stamped the polka dots on it and added some satin ribbon behind it. Here's the other side of that work basket subscription envelope. So it does have an envelope here. I had to repair it where it was torn. It got torn out of a magazine, and the staples ripped it up pretty good, so I covered it with that little piece of paper. This is a vintage postcard, and I just added vintage rickrack and a little piece of fabric there. It's actually a little piece of patchwork. Here's the other side of this paper art book, and I cannot remember the name of the artist, and I could have looked on my bookshelf because I think I have this very same book, and I believe it was Sarah that sent this page to me, several pages from this book. She lives in New England. She's New England Junk Journals. Anyway, I love his art, and I added this red, white, and blue Mallow Cup card. It's vintage, and I used a large brad to attach it. So we have lots of red, white, and blue on these pattern pages. Some stamping and some die cut or punched out stars here. It says Sparkle. And I made this little pocket with a die and added this tag that comes with the die, Love, Dream, Live, Love, Dream. And this is vintage. There's another little note sheet in here with the flag at the bottom and the Capitol building. And this is a vintage label. Do what you like with that. And this is a Polaroid picture. I don't know how old it is, but it has this top hat, red, white, and blue top hat, and a cake, and it's got little soldiers, and must be some gifts, and it says, "Good luck, Michael." So I think Michael was going into the military, but it was a Polaroid picture. It was very, very thick. I don't know why it was so thick, like layers of cardboard. And it was black on the back where it had been taken out of an old scrapbook. So I peeled it, made it thinner, and then glued it to just a lightweight piece of pale blue cardstock. And there were 2 pictures from the same event, so each journal got one. Some more pattern ladies here on cardstock, and this is vintage piano or vintage music, songs my mother taught me on this side. Here is a vintage postcard about the flag. It says Original Star Spangled Banner. So it's about the song. And this postcard with U.S. postage, airmail. There's an eagle there, and it was 4 cents. And some more of those stars that I left blank so you can journal on them. On this page, I used a paper clip that I made with an advertisement for Mighty Fine Vanilla Pudding, and this is part of an invoice from 1930. The top part of this page is in the other journal because it came apart because it was eaten by insects. The blue copy paper again. Here's the other side of that children's reader. They're gathered around the flagpole with the teacher who's teaching them all about the flag. Some more stamps here. And on the last page, we have this, which is a vintage product from 1940s. And this is also a vintage label. It says, "We bought extra war bonds, 4th war loan." And I just cut it out. It was a square piece, and I cut it out to the shape of the shield on cardstock. I glued it to cardstock. And this is from a marching band songbook. So we have Marine's Hymn, Tramp, 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 Dixie, and When Johnny Comes Marching Home. I put it in here so you can take it out and make things with it if you'd like. And here is a cream-colored shipping tag that I stamped on in navy and then added this pattern lady and some seam binding. And in the back flap, I did glue this down on all of the pockets. I was going to leave it loose as a tuck spot, but it kept kind of wanting to catch when I folded it. So I glued it down. I did another collage, and this is vintage Saver stamps, and this is a vintage silver star sticker. We have more sheet music, or not sheet music, it came out of a book. It says, "Shout, I am an American," and I sewed around it. It's just in cream-colored thread, but it's there. The detail is there. And then this is an embossed cardstock that I made into a tag, coffee-dyed paper on the back, and a digital label. I stamped this, and this is digital, and she came out of a 1950s Spiegel catalog. I'll have to put my signature on the back of that. So that is one journal. I don't have names for them. I should have named them, but I didn't. So they'll just be separate listings. You'll see the picture. Here's the other one with the girls in sailor suits. I love this pattern. Again, I added some rickrack, the blue pom-pom. I already had the bows on the last time you saw it. Same kind of collage on the back. I'll go through this one more quickly. Can't even tell what, oh, this is, here's to the waves. The waves are the women's, I don't remember now. The WACs are the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps. And I can't remember what the waves were. They were a women's army group. Vintage label here. We have the same pages to write on. This one has a different, sorry, these keep shifting. A different vintage ephemera. It's an advertisement. Singing America, Sing. The world's finest and most popular low-price song collections, etc. for choral community. And so it's just advertising a book, I guess, that you could get for singing groups. Or different books you could get. I think that was a really cool piece of ephemera. And here is Betsy McCall. I don't know who that is. Her name is Linda. So I don't know if it's her sister. I didn't read it. But the outfits are for Linda. This is from a Wilton yearbook, cake yearbook, in 1776. So this was a 1976 Wilton cake decorating book. This is the envelope for a subscription. I'll have to get to the other side to remember what it is. But it had, this was where the gummed part was for sticking the envelope, and it must have been a little sticky at some point because it had some black stuff. You can see it through the tape. But I just put washi tape on there. Another milk bottle cap. Same things in these pockets. Did I not have something on that page? Nope, I didn't. Thought I missed something in this book. So this is for Vogue Patterns, and it was in a pattern little home catalog that you could buy and take home with you. But it was it got misplaced in the catalog, so when a page was cut, it cut this part off. And so this was sealed up here, and this was cut off. I ended up trimming the top so I could make... I opened something that wasn't open before, so I could create an envelope and put that postcard in it. Here's the Mallow Cup card with a pretty embossed Brad, the other side of that cake. Here's the other Polaroid and another Bunko card. This is just a pocket, not a belly band. Pattern girls and pattern ladies, all wearing red, white, and blue. There is a postcard with dominoes, and they have a flag carved on the back. Patriotic themed wooden domino tiles from the late 19th century. Postcard and the die-cut stars. What does a soldier dream of? Here's the top part of that invoice, so you can see it was chewed up and that was only attached here. And it was Towanda Printing Company, the Daily Review, and it was written for somebody Mitchell in Troy, Pennsylvania. And this is a Crisco can that I use because it's red, white, and blue. I turned it into a paper clip. Hoisting the flag on the flagpole. This song page has Columbia, the gem of the ocean, and America, my country 'tis of thee, America the beautiful, and Hail Columbia. And the back pocket again has a collage on it. And the song is America, my country 'tis of thee, again. And a embossed tag, coffee dyed paper, a stamped image, and a lady from an old catalog from the 40s probably. So these were pretty fun to make, and now I'm done with the patriotic stuff, so I will be listing one bundle, I think, of supplies, leftover supplies, and I will be listing probably several bundles of fabric flips, because I made a bunch of them. I made them so I could put them in a bundle to sell. So that's what I'll be doing. So anyway, these are in my shop. Let's see, I'm going to list these in my shop at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That'll give West Coast people time to wake up. And it'll be on Saturday. Today's Friday, I'm making this video. And so I'm going to show the video on Saturday, and they will be in the shop the day you see the video, but not till 11 a.m., okay? And I need to make that announcement at the beginning, because I didn't say anything at the beginning. So I hope you like these. These were very fun to make, and you will be getting the bundle to come with them. So hopefully you'll get one of these if you want it and take it home with you and write about your memories of the 4th of July or any other memories you want to write in it. I'll see you in the next video. Have a creative day. Bye-bye.